Welcome to Max Tech, and this is our 6-month review of the iPad Mini 6. It's been over 6 months since Apple released the iPad Mini 6, and I've got to be honest with you guys, this is by far my favorite iPad for doing iPad things. Now when I say that, I'm separating iPad things and professional things because the 11-inch iPad Pro is by far a much better iPad in terms of also being a professional laptop replacement. But if you're just trying to get an iPad and enjoying it for consuming media, watching movies, watching shows, playing games, or just browsing the web, surfing through Twitter or whatever else, this is where it's at. Now I know that might surprise you because the new iPad Air 5 was just released and it has a bunch of upgrades including the famed M1 chip, but I actually like this better. Now before I explain all the reasons why, I want to get into my experience or my thoughts on the iPad Mini 6 after 6 months. Now the two things that really set this iPad Mini 6 apart from the other iPads in the lineup are, first of all, the compact size with the new redesign, and of course, number two is the price. You can get this thing for $500, so you're saving money compared to the higher end iPads, and it has just about the perfect size for an iPad, doing all those things like consuming media, and of course it has the new redesign, which is super nice compared to the budget iPad, which is still using that old home button design. I absolutely love basically every single part of the design of the iPad Mini. First of all, those flat sides, the thickness is just perfect for holding it. The speaker grills on both the top and bottom look really good. You got the volume buttons on top, including the new Touch ID power button, which honestly, I don't prefer that compared to Face ID on the iPad Pro, but of course, this is a much cheaper device, and hopefully in the future, Apple does bring Face ID to the iPad Mini. Going around to the back, I really love how you have that single camera design. You've got the flash, which of course the new iPad Air still doesn't have, and just overall, everything's just so proportionate. And of course you got the USB-C port, which is a huge upgrade compared to Lightning. I mean, this is the cheapest way to get a USB-C port on an iPad, and it just works so well. And where I think Apple absolutely nailed it is the compact size, because this is not only perfect for me for consuming media, having a larger display than on an iPhone, and just holding it in your hands like this, super comfortable. You can type or you can hold it in landscape mode. Just so much comfort for doing things like gaming. But the real sweet spot is when it comes to children. If you have kids, this is the perfect size. I let my son use this about 6 months ago when he was still only 1 year old, and he was able to hold it in his hands and watch some movies or some cartoons perfectly fine as a little kid, a little 1-year-old. And now my favorite part about this iPad Mini is that it comes with the latest A15 Bionic chip with the 5-core GPU, which means it packs a ton of graphics power and overall processing power inside of it, which means that if you buy this iPad Mini, you're gonna be good for the next 5 or plus years because it handles basically every app and game with ease, and it doesn't heat up. It's just so impressive. And in terms of gaming support, this is actually very impressive because you can play any game at perfect 60 FPS, and just to prove it to you guys, look at Golden Reviewer's tests of Genshin Impact, which is by far the most demanding iOS or iPadOS game, and he basically got a perfect 60 FPS, beating out all of the other mobile phones, including the iPhone 13 Pro Max, because this thing is able to stay cool enough for the chip to run at full performance, giving you perfect, solid 60 FPS. So that means any game you play is gonna run perfectly smoothly on this iPad Mini, which just makes it so good. And in terms of usability while gaming, this is literally the perfect size for gaming. You hold it in your hands, it's like having a game controller. You can fit everything, your thumbs all across the screen. It's just so convenient, especially with the new redesign. They got rid of the chin on the bottom and the forehead, so now you have unified bezels all the way around, and it makes the controls for moving and shooting or attacking closer to the edge, which makes it a lot more convenient. Now with that said, you're probably wondering about the iPad Air 5 because that just got the M1 chip. Now of course, it is a lot more powerful than the A15 in this iPad mini. However, it has a huge drawback. Even though it has the M1 chip, it still only has a 60 Hz display just like this iPad mini. And what that means is all of the extra performance on top of the A15 is completely wasted when you're doing things like gaming because this already hits 60 FPS, perfect performance with the A15. So what's the point of the M1? Plus, you have the larger iPad Air size, which is less convenient to hold in your hand for gaming. So honestly, the extra M1 chip on the iPad Air doesn't really matter, and I think going all the way up to the iPad Pro makes a lot more sense because you get the 120Hz ProMotion display. So if you want to spend more money than $500 for this iPad mini 6, then just go straight for the iPad Pro. And making this even better, this is actually on sale right now for $460 on Amazon using the link in the pinned comment below. This is just such a crazy deal for what you get. Basically, the best mobile gaming device out there. Now, in terms of the other ways the iPad mini compares to the iPad Air, well, first of all, this thing comes with a flash, which the iPad Air does not, and it basically comes with the same camera system, 12 megapixels on the back and the same 12 megapixel ultra wide on the front. So no real differences there. The main advantage of the iPad Air is actually the USB Type-C port, which is twice as fast, supporting 10 gigabit per second transfers compared to 5. But for a lot of people, that may not be a big deal, especially if you're using this as an iPad mainly. And one thing I really like about this redesign is this new folio case, which actually attaches magnetically, which I absolutely love. Yes, Apple packed in magnets into the iPad mini, so you don't have anything wrapping around the sides. Super convenient. You just plop on your Apple Pencil if you choose to have one, and it's just basically the perfect all-around design. Now, on top of everything I already mentioned, I do want to reiterate that this thing is an excellent media consumption device. Yes, that means watching YouTube videos, streaming Apple TV Plus, HBO Max, Netflix, if you're still subscribed to that, maybe, who knows. But the display on this is just perfect. The speakers you have on both sides, you have landscape, stereo mode. So overall, for being an iPad and using it as an iPad, like on your couch, anywhere else, taking it with you on the go, this is just so compact. The size is perfect for your hands, perfect for your kids' hands. I just love this iPad. I've got to say, this is my favorite iPad for iPad use. So with that said, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, go ahead and click the circle above to subscribe for more videos like this one. But if you disagree with me, if you think a different iPad is better, let me know in the comment section below, and make sure to check out one of those two videos right over there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.